Interesting.
Oh my goodness. Welcome everyone. Hello.
We've been having a party behind the scenes.
I'm telling you.
Jude is having
for
the first time, Jude has actually succeeded in getting us also to be behind. So our face is showing, but it's not showing. All right, welcome. Today is the Good Morning Education Show. It's Friday, the end of the week, and we are here. We are live. And to think we've been having a party behind the scene, guys, you've missed so much. But then we're taking the party back to you. So if you're listening to us wherever you are, please do let us know. Send in a comment. Let us know where you're streaming from, whatever part of the world. This is Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa, to the entire world. My name is Rotimi Itai, and I'm joined by fantastic, strong and top voices in the sector. We have Jude, we have Titi, we have Safety Chick, and we have only one person that's a Republican herself. Her name is KK. Hello, everyone. Say hello to everyone out there.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Titi out? Yeah, hello.
Hello.
All right. Okay, so we are going straight to the meat of the matter, and the point we're trying to say today out there. Sorry, you're getting to see us a little bit late. We actually started the show without starting the show. All right, so we're going to be talking about Teachers Wake Up, and we want to start with our first panelist or analyst to share with us. So when we talk about teacher wake up, what does it mean for teachers to wake up? I'm going to direct this back to KK, and then I'll move immediately over to Jude and Safety Chick and also to Titi. So please, someone is frowning actually. All right, so please do so. Thank you. KK, over to you.
Okay, hi, good morning, everybody. So the reality is when I saw the flyer and wake up came to me, immediately I understood that when you wake up, you were sleeping, right? So you were in a state of not being conscious, right? I mean, when you're asleep, you're not dead. So the things that are going on around you that you basically can key into, but the realities of your part in it might be not as clear. So you are sleeping and you can hear the breathe, you can hear people moving around, but you're not doing anything, you're not partaking actively. And so when I saw that wake up, I understood, I mean, it just clicked to me that, you know what, we need to get up, we need to take our place as teachers, as educators in this new normal. We need to first of all understand who we are, and that's the first thing. When I wake up, I'm groggy, or am I on my bed, am I in the couch in the living room, where am I? And then I realize, oh, I'm in my room, and then I look around and I can see quite clearly where I am and what the next thing is to do. Yeah, so that's what waking up pretends for me as an individual. Now, when I look at it for teachers, the acronym that comes to me is LEAD, which comes from a place of leadership. You must first lead yourself. I must get my feet out of that bed and walk into the bathroom or wherever it is that I need to be for me to do what needs to be done. So that is leadership. That is me being self-aware and leading myself. And so I came up with an acronym, which is LEAD. Now, L means to learn. So I need to first of all learn about myself. Who am I? What am I? What are the things I need to be doing? Where am I in terms of so there's the place of self-leadership, there's the place of self-awareness, and then there are my needs. So those three are things I need to learn about, and how can I make them something that I can use for people who are relying on me as a teacher. Yes, so you must learn. The second one is E. E means exploring. Now, if you've been in the classroom and you just teach and walk away, there will be nothing called learning outcomes. Nothing would happen, no learning would happen, because teaching is the action, but learning is the outcome. So when you teach, the outcome of that teaching is the learning, right? And that comes from a place of practice, from a place of exploration. So that's where we need to go with the E. We need to explore technologies that we need to learn. We need to explore the current mindsets. We need to explore who we are. We need to explore what our students need, what the parent, explore in so many different ramifications. And of course, across several plethora of needs that we have. And then we need to begin to look at A. A is to adapt and adopt. So when you talk about adapting and adopting, what do I need to adapt? And what are those things I can bring into my current realities? Because you can take it as it is and just adopt it, isn't it? But there's some things that you can't do that with. You need to adapt them to what it is and where we are right now. So that is where the A is. And then D, which is the last alphabet of the acronym LEAD. D is dare to lead. You have to actually dare to wake up. You have to dare to take your place as a teacher, as an educator, as a human being. You need to dare. And when you dare and actually then move forward, all those things that you have dormant sometimes on the inside of you breaks free. It's almost like the universe conspires to move you to that place of leadership where you need to be. So yeah, that's what comes to my head when I think about waking up.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's get to you set the ball in motion. Let me head over quickly to Jude. Mr. Jude, Prophet Jude, Bloke Jude. Invincible Jude. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good.
And so, KK has actually put in perspective the fact that there's a lot of consciousness that must happen for you to say teachers should wake up, from the individual consciousness also to the collective consciousness. And she shared an acronym called LEAD. And I know you're an advocate for learning. You always want people to explore. You don't even like going the normal route. You always like to explore. But you see, I know that there's sometimes, it almost looks like there's an invincible wall for people to begin to explore because already they feel they're in a mold. How can teachers get up, wake up, get conscious to the point where they need to break the mold that they are already in or that they feel they find themselves in to be able to explore? Because exploration cannot happen when you feel fit and fixed in nature. So your thoughts, Jude?
Yes, for exploration, what works for me, because I'm very I think creatively when it comes to that, when it comes to exploration. I like to use the word term mix and match. So I think of a concept and I say, okay, let me match it with this other concept I know. And I think of a new thing and I say, okay, let me match and see how the outcome. So that is how I explore. And I think that is missing in most teachers, and because mix and match actually gets you excited, trying new things. Mix and match actually gets you excited, adventuring into terrains that you were not used to before. And most first and foremost, before I even got into the teaching profession, and before I even got my teaching job, I was thinking I can never teach the same way I was taught. That was part of my mantra that was ringing in my head. I can never teach the way I was taught. I don't want, if else I will not stay in this field for longer. I'll look for something else. And that has actually kept me going. So when I got into it, I was just exploring, looking for new ways to actually engage my students, looking for new ways to bring my students' work to the limelight. So that actually helped me to a great extent to this point. So the key with the secret behind it is just mix and match. You have a new technology, you want to mix it with look for how it matches into a class scenario. You have a new platform or a new idea, you want to see, okay, how does it fit into a class scenario? And I've been able to actually channel almost everything I know through the eyes of my profession or my career as a teacher or as an educator. So I have a new skill. I say, how will it be relevant to my classroom? How can I apply it to what I'm doing? How can I even teach my children in a specific topic or in a specific area? So that has actually kept me going. That has actually kept me exploring more, because there's always going to be something new to do.
Hello, Jude, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Safety Chick, do you want to add your thoughts to this?
I think that both of them have already captured it all. I really like the lead acronym that Mrs. Ajayi has given us this morning. In fact, like Ms. Adeusi said, I'm also going to borrow it. It's such an encompassing way to talk about waking up, that self-awareness and trying to go the extra mile. And Jude has also talked about mixing and matching. We can't, and I think that mixing and matching is about adapting. You can't want to do everything the same way. You have to keep thinking of new ways to do things, be more creative as you deliver on your task and your goals. So I think it's been captured already.
Okay, Titi. Your mic, Titi, your mic.
Okay, what I would like to say to everyone listening,
Titi, your mic.
How can you?
Yeah, she's on.
My mic is back. I'm back. What I would like to say to everyone that's listening is, how do you make this practical? Taking the lead, learn, explore, adapt, and then get to lead. What should you be learning? People that are successful are very, very, serious learners. So during this period, I'm asking you, what have you learned that is new? What webinars or seminars or conferences have you attended? What new tool are you saying that you want to learn? What new connection are you making? What have you opened a Facebook? Do you have a Facebook handle? Do you have an Instagram handle? Do you have a LinkedIn handle? Which communities online should you join? Which people should you join and listen to? All this is learning. What books should you be reading? So I feel that we need to make it practical and break it down to what practical thing as a teacher. Ask yourself, what should I learn? Give yourself a target, set yourself a goal. Especially for those that the schools are on break, set yourself a goal. What should I learn? Even if your school is not on break, what should I learn? What should I explore? What area, what new strength, should I explore? All these things people are saying, let me go and try and explore them. I don't know what it's all about, but let me try and explore them. And what should I adapt? What have I learned that is not working? So don't stay in your same corner, say, oh, it seems as if technology wants to take over our job or this. No. Ask yourself, how can I adapt? What has changed? What should I be changing a bit? What should I be tweaking about the way I teach, about the way I learn, or just the way I go about my business? I think it's for us to ask ourselves practical questions in using our new acronym LEAD. That's what I'll say.
All right. So in saying that, we need to realize that just like you said, can we also use numbers? Can we use numbers to help stir up the consciousness that KK mentioned? Also, the way that you said we should go practical, because we need to really look at the numbers. Numbers sometimes helps to paint a picture and a scenario, right? So, like you said, Titi, let's look at one angle and let's gravitate towards the numbers. If we were to do the math, let's say on the average, how many teachers do you think do we have in Lagos State? Just let's use Lagos as a case in point.
I know Lagos State said they had there was a time they were saying they had, was it like 3,000? They were trying to achieve 5,000. I don't know if that's my figures. I think there was a meeting I went for. They said they had
much more than that.
But we're talking about public school teachers. I'm not talking about private school.
All private school teachers.
Private school teachers have like that, almost, was it 6,000? But when at that meeting, it was almost as if Lagos was trying to achieve 5,000 teachers, and they are currently at 3,000.
Yeah, but
this cannot be more than 2 years ago. This meeting I attended. So, but if you know that.
So let me help you. Let me help you.
Okay.
Let me help you.
Go ahead, go to me. Yeah.
So let's do this calculation in this way. Okay, so we have, say, close to about, let's say, registered and registered, but most times it said it's registered. 18,000 private schools, for example, 1,700 public schools.
In Lagos, in Lagos, is this
So,
Lagos?
Yes.
Yes, in Lagos. Yes,
okay.
in Lagos. So let's do the math. So if you had an average of 5 teachers in every school in the public school, 1,700 public schools times 5 teachers, what would you have?
I mean, we're looking close to 300,000 teachers, public and private.
So public and private. So that's just to help people understand, where we begin to look at it, we begin to look at it from the numbers. Numbers tend to make a lot of sense. So if we were to say, wake up teachers and try to dare, like we're using the acronym, what are they daring? Remember that the numbers would always trigger them. So for example, if they were to dare to deliver maybe some level of resource or some level of expertise, the consciousness of who they are, the consciousness of the numbers will help. So let's put it this way. Lagos State population is pegged between 22 to 24 million, right? That's another number. And they said pretty much you have over 2.2 to 3 million, in some cases, not always accurate, but 2 to 3 million households, right? So if we were to peg that also to trigger it in this pandemic, for example, and we said teachers should wake up, right? What are they waking up to? Teachers in Lagos, there are about 300,000. What are they waking up to in terms of a market space of 24 million or a market space of 2 to 3 million household? If we were to put a teacher per household, we will still not have enough teachers to go around every household. Do you agree with me?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're saying is we need to begin to help people begin to shape perspective. And this is just Lagos, and the world is at our feet. So, sometimes people always come up with some common narratives that there's no proof to it. So let's give an example. Somebody is very good in math and is teaching mathematics and feels like he will propose a theory on mathematics or probably come up with a publication. Now, because he's not thinking of the numbers, there's a possibility that he will condense his expertise to a particular funnel or medium. And that in itself can be limiting to that gift. Itself can be limiting to that, because it's not looking at it. You understand? So think about it, where a lot of people struggle to fill 30 seats in a seminar, in a room, in a conference. You struggle to fill 100. And the reason is because even the approach to the seminar itself, most people did not, if in their mind, the best they would have thought of is, if you have 100, you are great and you're excited. But what is 100 vis-a-vis 300,000 teachers?
Yeah.
Are we together?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I want us to take that. So as we churn out, and KK, Jude, Safety Chick, TT, back to you. Let's begin to use those things. You said let's be practical. So when we talk about learn, when we talk about explore, when we talk about adaptation and adoption, and also when it comes to the place of daring, there is a sample space that people can work with when we think of figures. Because some teachers out there have never thought about it that way, right? And there are many things. We're not talking about just business opportunities here. We're talking about career advancement. We're talking about professional development. We're talking about exploring your expertise. We're talking about finding more expression to who you are. We're talking about feeling fulfilled or staying fulfilled in your career. We're talking about getting ahead, So can we take it from there? Who wants to try? I think Safety Chica, let me know you Safety Chick to start. Let me go back to KK. You brought the theory and you must apply it to it.
Why do I feel like I'm the new kid on the spot? Okay. All right. So for me, right, when you look at these numbers, like you said, it does break into the show. No, yeah, I feel that way. So I mean, the business side of things. And to be honest with you, education is a business. Teaching is a business. Life, in its sense, in some way, is a business. So when you look at it like that, the numbers kind of puts the language in context. So first of all, when we say let's get it practical, my challenge is that people always see the box and think that the box is a problem. The box is not a problem, because within this box that you have just shown to us, Mr. Itayo, there's a lot inside the box. So if we only sit down in our boxes and look around us, open up our eyes to the needs that exist just around us, like you said, in the next neighborhood, then find that there are opportunities that we can wake up to, that we can begin to say, oh, what do these people need? And how can I step into it? So one of the problems I find that a lot of teachers in general have, and I believe that this is a cultural problem, because, so I wrote a poem yesterday night, and it was a poem that just talks about the fact that people want to come into the education sector, but the education sector has been so bastardized in terms of, we are not seen as, in terms of importance. We're not seen as important. We're not seen as being pivotal to changing things even in Nigeria. So people are afraid to introduce themselves as teachers. So you hear things like, I'm an educationist, I'm an educator, I'm a learning something. We are a teacher, leave that matter. So the minute we begin to understand that this box that we are is a fantastic box, that's the first place where we begin to wake up from. And then we look around and then we hear, oh, I hear that your children are running around in the house. You know, I can take them for 1 hour a week, or 1 hour, is too much, for 1 hour a day. You know, and then already that's been practical. What can the person say? The person will just say no, or the person will say yes. If they say no, that's fine. Go to the next house. And you already, by doing that, first of all, you're coming to a place of confidence. And then you're not struggling with that, your friend who has a lesson, and you're trying to see how to get into their space, because you have just finally realized that you have a space. You have a niche you can get into. So the first thing that, in terms of being practical, is what is your uniqueness, and how can you get that uniqueness into your own box and make it visible? So one thing I found, and this is even for me, I find it really difficult to talk about myself and talk about the things that I've done. I mean, I've done really phenomenal things, to be honest with you, but I'm always very shy about talking about them. But we need, in this space where we are right now, when it talks about being daring to explore. I mean, I'm a mom. I've been married for close to 16 years. It doesn't come easy. I can talk about, and that alone, it might not be education, but guess what? Exactly. Guess what? That's a space where I can talk. I can talk about the fact that, oh, I've been married for this long. My children are teenagers. I can talk about that. And I can talk from my experience. So it might be teaching. But you see, it doesn't always have to be teaching within the box of education. Life is about learning. And the minute we get into that space where we understand that my experiences are valued and they become a platform where I can leverage, do great things, I believe that that is the first place where being practical, as you've said, comes from. So like you said, those numbers are staggering. And if I take 5 houses around me, I will have food on my table every week.
Awesome.
Fantastic. You also gave us some statistics actually. 16 years, you've been married for 16 years. That's a curriculum on its own. You see why we call you KK Republic. It's not easy. And in my safety chick voice, I'll say, oh shit. All right. So yeah. So let's drill this down, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I think that will help, and I really want to hear Jude and Safety Chick on this matter, because I know I've had this conversation with Titi many times, so I don't want Titi to set fire on this first. So let's hear you guys out. Now, a lot of times when we mention teachers, and just like you said, KK, that there's a personal perspective to it, but when people hear the word or mention the name or the word teachers, a lot of people ascribe it to a job.
Yeah, and it's not.
And I think that that might also be a need for us to stress on, for us to get people out there to see that this is a wake-up call. When we talk about teachers, we're mentioning majorly the teaching profession, right? The profession is really what should come first, not the teaching job, because we all have different perspective to the teaching job. And that might actually be what is affecting a lot of people. So I'm going to ask Jude to try as much as possible to open us up to that aspect where people need to understand that there's a difference between the teaching job and the teaching profession. And then probably come to Safety Chick, who would also help, expand on that. Because I know that a lot of people are now going to be looking at, when you share ideas and say you can do numbers and all that, a lot of people come back to a question based on what they have in their mind. Hey, I'm a teacher with a teaching job, right? And a teaching job makes them feel stuck, right? So, Jude, over to you.
Yeah. Okay, yes. I think the ideology comes from, it's still part of our educational upbringing, that once you graduate, go and look for a job, right? And we start weighing or comparing jobs. Okay, the teaching job pays so amount, oil and gas pays so amount, and all that. So we start comparing. So automatically the potentials are limited based on our job descriptions, or based on what the teaching job can offer per teacher. Now, when you talk about the profession, it's more broader sense. It's actually where enterprising or the entrepreneurship part of the teaching comes to life.
Yeah.
Take, for example, you have a teacher working in a school somewhere, and that teacher also has an e-learning course somewhere, right? And that teacher also teaches some foreign students in an online video session somewhere. And that teacher, so you start seeing the expansion of that particular teacher in different aspects, but they are still doing the same thing they love to do, which is what? Teaching. Now, most teachers limit themselves. Most times they limit themselves to just a school, or trying to get stuck or get tied to a school and maybe earn salary and all that. And that's where you start seeing this complaining of they don't pay, they don't pay, they don't pay, they don't pay. Now, if you imagine a teacher being on or doing their own enterprising stuff with the same profession and earning maybe twice the amount they are earning in school, automatically that perception will change, and that perspective will not be there, where you say, I'm just an ordinary teacher. You are actually an enterprising teacher if you know how to apply your profession in the areas it's supposed to be applied. Because most teachers are very, very stuck. They are very, very stuck to just their school. Yes. And one thing that really helped me was, I was looking at, I cannot just be hello, I can hear you. I cannot just be teaching in a school. I have to do something more than this. Are you getting it? And that's where I started looking at even helping teachers author their books. I started looking at, okay, how can I train more teachers into digital space? And so I started seeing, I attended the film school, and I was able to, okay, let me see how it can be applicable to teaching. So the more things I learn, the more I try to figure out how it works in teaching as a profession. Automatically, I start expanding it to meet other parts of teaching profession that wasn't applicable before. Now I have a film club which I launched some maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I don't think there's a film club in any school in Nigeria. So automatically, I'm trying to apply everything I know outside teaching to the teaching profession, and that gives me a better expansion and a better expression of the teaching profession.
Fantastic. So thank you for that perspective, Jude. You mentioned that a lot of people feel stuck. A lot of people don't just feel stuck, they are actually stuck. A lot of people are not stuck, but they have been made to believe that they are stuck. So Safety Chick. Yes, so let's bring it to you. Safety Chick. Now I'm going to ask the question just to and I want to use your own career experience, right? So when we say there's a difference between the teaching job and the teaching profession, we must bring it first to say, what then is the teaching job? The teaching job is just a summary of specific tasks assigned that you're paid for, right? Meaning that everyone within that frame, right, has the same job, just several functions. So I might be functioning as an English teacher, but everybody has the same job, right? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Now, in most schools, there is what we call the career level. And you find out that, for example, KK, you could correct me if I'm wrong, you have sometimes people come in as volunteers or interns, some people come in as assistant teachers, and then there's the teacher, and there's probably at a level you get to be an head of department or year head, and then for some people, depending on their framework and structure, you move over from a year head, you get into the place where you're either part of the supervisors or management team, and then if you go further in position-wise from management team, you probably become the head of school or a head teacher. In some cases, you become the director of school, as the case may be, shareholder and the likes. Now, these are career paths. These are career levels within your specific organization. How can we get teachers to, number one, not just look at the teaching job as a teaching job, or to see the career levels within the teaching job that they have? Because a lot of people don't aspire. I know that there might be need for people to understand the years involved. So take, for example, if the steps I've mentioned are about 7. If they were to be promoted every year, it would take them 7 years to become head of school. If they were to be promoted every 2 years, it would take them 14 years to become head of school. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but the thing is, people imagine if everybody get onto the job at the same time.
How did you fast track?
Okay, so as you were saying this now, I was just seeing the parallels with the aviation sector. Because even if everybody, imagine maybe 10 teachers came in at the same time, right? All of them cannot be head of school at the same time. They were all being promoted every 2 years. So we've got to look for how to separate yourself. Some days ago, I put on my stories, one of the pilots I knew when he came in as a first officer. A first officer is the early stage you come in as a pilot, when you are learning work, as we will say, right? And I have seen almost all of them grow through the ranks from being FOs to senior first officer to now being captains. Meanwhile, a cabin crew who probably got on the job the same time they came in is still a basic crew, same number of years. And that is a problem, because when people keep thinking that the only way they can grow is within the level, within that particular organization, then it becomes a problem. You keep yourself stuck. Meanwhile, there's so much you can do outside. So I don't want teachers to keep thinking that the only way they can grow is within their organization. If we really want to be practical, if 10 of us entered at the same time and there is only one position for head of school, are you going to kill the head of school to take the position? At the end of only one person will be qualified. So even if the 10 of you are fantastic.
I like the way you said that. Let's put it this way. What we're saying is teachers must wake up to the career levels. Someone at least will still be a head of school. That's one. Number two, from the way you used your illustration and experience in the aviation industry. Number two, everyone might not be positional leader part-time in a single location, right? So you are not head of school because they've made you head of school, right? You are head of school first before they make you head of school. So when they promote you, it's just that they feel this is the fix. You are not contained as a head of department. We can't leave you as an ordinary teacher. You have to be something more. Some people have set up new location because they have realized that they've groomed 5 heads in the same location. Therefore, they have to create other ships for them to captain. So what we're saying is there must be a way where teachers must wake up to the career levels. But then to find more expression and to grow and fast track your growth, you need to explore your career path as a teacher, which is saying that there's career levels based on the number of steps within the organization, but there's a career path. And I'd like Titi to, talk about that, being a consultant, being a tech person, being every guru that you know that you are. Let's take people to the career path, right? And we take a lot of teachers out there and open and unveil them to the career path of teaching.
Honestly, I think Safety Chick already started guiding us in that direction. Don't keep yourself in your box, and I think that's what it is. You know, create multiple options for yourself. If you are a teacher, if you've done your learning, you know, and exploring, you need to create multiple boxes for yourself and beyond the school or beyond the organization you're currently in. Yeah. And how do you do that? The first thing is, remember that there are now so many tools that are giving you a bigger audience. If you are a teacher today, I'm telling you, you don't have a LinkedIn, a Facebook, an Instagram handle. I don't think you've even started. Because what that does is that you then begin to create an online CV for yourself of your accomplishment that other people can see and tap into it. So see, you know, using Safety Chick as an example. So if someone today said, look, I need something on safety, someone to talk about it, they will just check online, her name will come up. Because she has slowly building her portfolio beyond the box that, physical box that she's in. You're a good math teacher. You know how to do it so well. Who else knows about it? You can't really be only your school. Sister, if you don't have online presence that can tell people about what you're doing, then you have not even started to explore. The second thing I would then say is the same thing Mrs. Ajayi said. You are a teacher. You live, your school is in VI, but you live in Yaba. Okay, so your school knows you, but your Yaba environment, do they know you? Can you begin to, when people need help in that your area where you exist, and you begin to create your own physical presence there, where they can say, oh, your child is not doing well in maths. You don't know that this person that stays 3 doors away, she's a good maths teacher. She taught my son the other day when he was preparing for common entrance. The next thing, you're having a market. And the person has a good experience, refers you to another person. I want to bring 2 examples, to you of people that have done this and are now world renowned. The first person is the co-founder of Khan Academy. How did he start? He started by he was teaching his cousin maths, and then he had to go back home. And he now said, okay, just because I'm back home doesn't mean we can stop our math lesson. Let me look for a way using the internet to continue to teach you. That person was successful. That cousin told another cousin. And the next thing says teaching a few cousins. And a few cousins told other people. And then he then had an audience. And then he now started creating videos on YouTube that beyond his cousins they could use. And that is how Khan Academy started out. The same thing is a very popular edtech company that is one of the billion-dollar companies in India. It's doing the similar thing. Started by teaching you to learn. Next thing, more people were interested in, more people were referring. Today, that company is the only edtech company in the world that is worth $1 billion, is a unicorn, and it's based in India. So what I'm saying, and that is based in India, is now world renowned. So don't put yourself in a box. Ask yourself, what do I have in my hand? And let everybody within your vicinity know you have it in your hand, beyond your school. And then go to the world, the wider audience, which is the internet, and let them begin to know what you are good at. So that when they need referrals on that area, both the people that have seen you and the people that you created a CV on begin to know that. So don't limit yourself. COVID has taught us, do not limit yourself. Honestly, there's someone right now that the person is based in Dubai that is teaching people here in Nigeria. So it doesn't matter where you are. The person is based in Dubai during this COVID period. He's having students here in Nigeria. I know people that are based here in Nigeria that are teaching Yoruba lessons to people in Australia, people in Canada, people in the UK.
Fantastic. I love that. So, Keke, I'm coming straight to you, and I'm loving this. I'm going to ask you, knowing that you're very active within the space at different levels with different people, but I believe that there are three major pitfalls to avoid, which is also a need to wake up to. I find that we are driving at a top speed towards similarity, right? We are becoming victims of communal behavior. I want you to address that. The second thing I also want you to address, and probably Jude might also say something about that, or safety check, is apart from the similarities or the communal behavior negative effect, we are now tearing ourselves apart with a competing behavior in a communal behavior. You understand? Yeah. Meaning that there's a competing culture within the communal behavior, which means even the best in that best is not able to thrive because it or he or they can be projected as the best. Are you following me?
Absolutely.
So, and then the third pitfall to avoid is the lack or the miseducation of globalization, meaning that Titi said something quite profound, that there's someone in Dubai who is training teachers or training people in Africa or in Lagos or in Nigeria. Now, that person did not need any special announcement online to say, now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, any teacher can teach anybody. It seems like we are not waking up to the reality that globalization is a common denominator to all. Can you address these three things, please?
To be honest, Rotimi, I think the major issue is something that we had picked on. I think when we were having our private party without being before we came, we got live, which is the fact that we don't realize that there's just this huge pool that everybody can pick from. So what happens is there's this herd mentality, which usually happens with a lot of teenagers. The herd mentality is everybody is going to the left, and so everybody just generally wants to go to the left. They forget the fact that, look, there's a right wing, there's forward. You don't have to go to the right. You can also go upwards. But unfortunately, you see one person who seems to be doing well, and so everybody kind of just, whoa, spotlight on this person, let's go here. So that's where the similarities come from. So all of us now begin to almost fashion our minds, our thoughts, and what we do to line up with that thing that seems like it is the one gaining prominence. And in that regard, then we get into this crab in a bucket mentality, and we start finding ways to pull down everybody else so that we can then attain prominence that we seek, which is ridiculous, really, because there's just so much more. When you find that there's this global audience waiting for you. When we started online school, sorry, I'll digress a little here. We had people from the US joining my online school. And one thing they said was, oh, it's online now. So this is something that we've always wanted. We like the way Nigerian education is. So we would like to do this. So that's why we went into synchronous and asynchronous, because we understood that when I'm taking a live session here, the people in the US are probably sleeping. So we have to find a way, devise a way to record those sessions and make it available to them. But again, when you have not learned what is out there, when you have not explored it, all you can see is what is before your nose. And unfortunately, they don't even see the big deal before their nose, because like you said, it's a global village. So they're limited in their mindset, they're limited in their thinking, they're limited in their ability because they haven't stretched themselves. They haven't woken up to the realities that exist within the sector, and like you said, within the profession. It's not just in your school, it's not just in your community. We're global now. Move outwards. I mean, I had an issue where somebody I know, a member of her staff, resigned. Why? Because everybody is online now, so they started their online school. But there's life beyond that. Why are you resigning? You're working from home. Why do you have to resign? Why can't you just create a new target audience for yourself and go there, teach, and still run your target audience? But you see, that place of wicked competition where we are, and which is killing us as a people, killing us as individuals as well, because it doesn't allow you to grow beyond the level of the person that you're trying to copy. And that's just a really sad place. So that's the major problem that we're having with Arutimi. And of course, the mismatch, I believe I've been able to capture it all. But to be honest with you, when we get out of this space that all we see is what the other person is doing, we can never see what we are capable of doing. Until we see what we are capable of doing, we can't move forward.
Fantastic. Prophet Jude, I need some prophetic insights to this.
It's all a matter
Prophet
of
Jude, I need you to say something.
yes, it's all a matter of purpose, because the truth is that God created everybody unique, right? And nobody is a
Yes.
mistake. So it means everybody has a purpose, and if everybody tap into their purpose, automatically there will be no lack for anyone, because they are in their lane, they are in their purpose. Because definitely, if God, before the world became 8 billion, actually made all resources that will even take a planet of 20 billion people, maybe in future if we become 20 billion, so automatically it means he has a special purpose for each and every creature, human being that is created. So if in a space as education, every teacher is tapping into their individual niche, let me say that's their purpose, automatically they will have their audience. Everybody cannot be your audience. That's impossible. Everybody cannot be your student. So you have your voice and you attract people who love your voice.
Yeah.
And funny enough, you will find that, Mr. Rotimi, people that you have mentored, they might not even like you. Sorry, their audience might not like you, but they like your mentees.
Yeah.
You get it? So automatically it shows that every people will always gravitate towards people they like, and that is a natural course. So trying to outshine somebody, or trying to become better than somebody by evil means, automatically it's witchcraft in itself. It's witchcraft in itself, and it's a very redundant mindset. It's a very redundant mindset for anybody to actually put their weight towards trying to bring anybody down. Because now you find that even at this point in time, you find that there's a lot to be looking forward to. There's always something to look forward to. And when you start looking at other people's path, that's what you want to follow, other people's path. There's nothing bad in wanting to be like somebody or admire somebody's progress, right? But at least when you get to that point, you should now say, okay, what can I do aside this? What can I do? Yes, so you are not trying to outshine that person, but you are finding your path from that same route that you have gone through, and you don't want to compete with that person. That's why I will never be how will I put it? I will never see myself as being drought or having creative drought in edtech space, because I always know there's something for me to look up to.
Thank you so much for that. I think I like the fact that you said that the purpose of YouTube is to create content, not to compete with content. Content creation, not content competition. Absolutely fantastic. And so we're going to take Safety Chick. And Safety Chick, please, in 20 seconds, respond to that. And then we'll have KK is going to take the comments today. KK, you're going to take comments today. So Safety Chick, over to you, 20 seconds counting.
Okay, so I think we need to be comfortable in our skin and comfortable in our identity. Once we are comfortable in our skin and our identity, to a really large extent, we won't be bothered. So we want to copy and do things exactly as you do, but that shouldn't stop you. That shouldn't make you want to hurt information. As a matter of fact, that should even make you to want to groom more people, so that as you move on to the next, they can continue from where you stop. Do you see?
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that when people are setting up their identity, all these other things do not matter. As a matter of fact, you now begin to think in a holistic way. The world is not really all about you. And Jude mentioned something that is so important: gravitate more towards them than to you. And that is understandable, because you see, so you need to begin to think, so what's the next place? I'll just stop there.
Okay.
KK, over to you. Comments, please.
Okay, guys, you forgive me if I do this wrongly, but here goes. Adenike Peter says that teachers must be more creative, and she absolutely agrees with Titi about the fact that we need to make things a lot more practical so that people can actually leverage some of these things that we've taught here today. Of course, we also have, sorry.
You can look at the screen.
Oh, I can look at the screen. Okay, so, okay, says, so that's me, says that we should wake up from a place of self-awareness. Yes. And the acronym LEAD, Niger Kids was amazing enough to put it together for us. L means learn. E tells us about exploring your audience technology. A is adapting. And D is dare to lead. Dare to be that person who you were born to be. Dare to explore your authenticity, which is something that Safety Chief just finished talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, we have Felicia in the house, and she's saying good morning to everybody. So, guys, say good morning to Felicia Oduton.
Good morning. Good morning, Felicia.
Yes, so yeah, Titi says that it's Adenike says we should make it practical, and which is the reality. I mean, one thing that we can also do here is look at our frameworks. Ifyok is also saying good morning. I'm wondering where Ifyok is saying good morning from.
From UAE, Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates.
Oh, okay. Of course, we love the topic.
We're global. We're global now. We're global now.
100% global. Yes. And Nana, the ever amazing Nana, of course.
No, you didn't get the name. You didn't get the name. There's a way it's pronounced. Nana.
Nana.
Okay. Oh, goodness. Yes. Spelling Bee talked about the fact that teaching job versus teaching profession, which is great. Ifyok, of course, highlighted something that said life is about learning. Yeah. That's the reality. And that's a thread that has gone through our entire conversation this morning. Life is about learning. Learn and become that person who can differentiate themselves and gain the prominence that they seek. So yeah. Exactly, Adenike, I absolutely agree with you. The perspective of teaching job versus teaching profession. Sometimes we lose sight of the teaching profession because the teaching job is the one that is always being highlighted and always been talked about. But we need to actually flip that and move the teaching profession into the limelight as well. Yes, teachers do need to see themselves as capable professionals and strive towards continuous professional development. Absolutely. If you hit that nail on the head squarely. We are all proud to be teachers. It is our passion, our mission, and our profession. And maybe life is taking it a little far, but yes, it is something that we're absolutely happy to be doing. Yes, so thank you all very much. Good morning, Vivian. It's good to have you here. Okay, so can I get
That's our first time on the show.
Oh, Vivian. Oh.
No, that's Vivian's first time. Yeah.
Fabulous. Yes, Ifyok said something which I think is highlighted as well. She says that people who see teaching as a job will always believe that there's a better job, and that's the reality. However, if you see it as a profession, a career, it changes your perspective completely, because you realize that it's not just the location where you are, but it's the space, the sector, the ecosystem within which you exist, where you can actually grow. Yeah, so yeah, we should keep striving for growth. Absolutely, I agree with you 100% with that, Ifyok. Okay. Do we have any other comment we want to highlight?
Yes.
Spelling Bee Nigeria, thank you for highlighting these three. That's so good. The pitfalls, the three of them. Similarity. Mr. Rotimi, can you go back to that, please? The place of similarity, the place of competition, and the mismatch of, yes, thank you so much. Chasing similarity and communal behavior. Competition in a communal setting, we just tears apart the entire sector, and globalization. We lose sight of the fact that we be global now. So let's step onto that global stage. Thank you so much.
We'll be global.
Yeah, we be global. Exactly. Everyone has a voice. People who like your voice will always gravitate towards it. Thank you, Jude, for that quote, and Ifyok for highlighting it. But you first of all need to understand that you have a voice and trust your voice. Yeah. Okay, so trust your voice. Cadet Academy says good morning. So guys, say good morning to Cadet Academy.
Good morning.
That's Lola Nikki as well.
Yeah, it's good to have her here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have Baby Victor for the first time.
Oh, Oh, baby Victor, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Ring up with your bell of blessing.
I'm ringing it.
Okay.
All right. So that's. I think we can just have our last words as we bring this to a close. We actually extended the time because we were having a private party. Today is actually a month that we've been having the Good Morning Education show, and we've witnessed people from India, from South Africa, from UAE, Dubai, from Ireland, from Abuja, Port Harcourt, from Lagos, from Abeokuta, and it's been a fantastic time. We had the excellent teacher. We have Solomon Abigail. We have so much fantastic people who always join us every morning. Favor, shout out to Favor, and a lot of them who always come in the morning to share their day with us. And we always say this: it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. So we're signing out with one sentence from each person. So Titi, we're starting with you. Sign off. Titi, your word. Sign off in one statement. Jude after
My statement,
and then Kiki after Jude.
Explore, adapt, and dare to lean. That's my one statement, honestly. Sorry, Mrs. I have taken it from you. So learn, explore,
Jude, over to you.
Yes. My one-word statement is see beyond your job. See beyond your job. That's my one word. Yes, see beyond your job.
All right. Safety check, over to you.
I would say be grounded in your identity.
Oh, shit. And Kiki, your last words.
And I've been following very close on the heels of safety check. Know your voice, trust your voice, use your voice, and wake up to who you truly are.
Know your voice. I like that.
Well, it's been a great time today, and it's a very good way to end the first month of the Good Morning Education Show, talking about Teachers Wake Up. Waking up is a conscious call. Waking up is a commitment call. Waking up is an action call. And I want you to go out there, stay awake, make sure that your eyes are wide, but they're shut. So we'll see you the same time next week. My name is Rotimi Itayo, and we're signing out. Thank you, everybody. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining. Bye.